The phone buzzes at 3:12 in the morning, cutting through the humid Key West darkness like a scalpel. Hurricane shutters rattle against my conch cottage windows, but that's not what makes my chest tighten. It's the voice on the other end, too smooth, too rehearsed, like a telemarketer reading from a script written in hell. "Mr. Harlan, this is Jackson Memorial Hospital in Miami. Your daughter Emily was in an accident. A yacht collision off Biscayne Bay. She's brain dead. You need to come now." I should feel something. Grief, maybe. Panic. Instead, I feel the old instincts kick in, the ones that kept me alive through 6 terms in Congress and twice as many political knife fights. This smells wrong. Too clean, too convenient. Emily and I haven't spoken in 4 years. Not since she married Blake Thornton, that crypto-scamming pretty boy with his offshore wallets and his yacht named Paradigm Shift. But I still grab my keys. The Mustang roars to life in my driveway, all 289 cubic inches of Detroit fury wrapped in candy apple red. I've kept this car longer than most of my friendships. 1967, same year I graduated law school. Same year I learned that Florida politics is just organized crime with better suits. I floor it toward US 1, watching the speedometer climb past 80 as I hit the 7-mile bridge. The ocean spreads out on both sides, black and endless under a sky that can't decide if it wants to rain or just threaten. Salt wind whips through the open top, stinging my eyes, turning my silver crew cut into a mess I'll fix later. If there is a later. The voice on the phone keeps replaying in my head, and each time I hear it I catch another detail that doesn't fit. Brain dead. Not critical condition. Not fighting for her life. Brain dead. Final. Organ donor final. And that's when I know. This isn't about Emily dying. This is about Emily selling. I've spent 30 years in the swamp, the real one, in Tallahassee and D.C., not the Everglades I actually helped restore. You don't survive that long without learning to read the angles. Someone needs something from me, and they're using my estranged daughter as bait. The question isn't whether it's a trap. The question is who set it and what they think I'm stupid enough to fall for. Miami rises in my windshield like a neon fever dream, all glass towers and Art Deco facades pretending the city isn't built on cocaine money and real estate fraud. I know these streets. I wrote legislation in buildings that don't exist anymore, shook hands with developers who are now serving federal time, kissed babies who probably grew up to be disappointments just like Emily. Jackson Memorial Hospital squats in the medical district like a concrete fortress, all trauma bays and helicopter pads. I park in the emergency lot, ignoring the signs about proper visitor parking. At 3:47 in the morning, nobody's checking permits. Inside, the fluorescent lights make everything look like a crime scene, which maybe it is. The ICU nurse barely looks up when I give Emily's name. She just points down a corridor that smells like disinfectant and desperation. Room 847. My shoes squeak on the linoleum, too loud in the pre-dawn silence. I can hear machines beeping behind closed doors, families whispering prayers that probably won't get answered. But room 847 is different. Through the small window in the door I can see her, Emily. 38 years old, same dark hair as her mother, same stubborn jawline she got from me. She's in the bed, tubes and wires everywhere, a ventilator breathing for her. The monitors show flat lines where brain activity should be. It's perfect. Too perfect. And that's when I see Blake. He's in the corner, expensive suit rumpled like he slept in it, which he probably didn't. Blake Thornton doesn't sleep, he schemes. He's on his phone, thumb-scrolling, face lit by that blue glow that makes everyone look guilty. He doesn't notice me yet. Doesn't see me watching through the glass as he texts someone, his expression cycling through calculation, satisfaction, greed. I don't go in. Instead, I turn left, following the signs to the men's room. It's empty except for one stall with the out-of-order sign taped to the door. I push it open anyway. Inside, sitting on the closed toilet lid like he's waiting for a bus, is a man in janitor's coveralls. Late 50s, weathered face, hands that have seen real work. Agent Luis Ruiz. He doesn't smile, just slides a tablet across the narrow space between us. On the screen, security camera footage, not the hospital's official feeds, but something else. Something I recognize because I paid for the installation myself, 20 years ago, when I first suspected Emily was getting into business with the wrong people. The footage shows Emily, not in the hospital bed, not brain dead. She's in what looks like a church parking lot, Coral Gables probably, judging by the palm trees and the architecture, Sunday morning, based on the families in their church clothes walking past. She's wearing oversized sunglasses and a sundress, looking healthy and very much alive. She's laughing, actually laughing, head thrown back, while Blake stands next to her counting cash. $100 bills. Lots of them. A man in surgical scrubs, too clean, too Hollywood, takes an envelope from Blake. They shake hands. The man walks away. Blake and Emily get into a Tesla and drive off. The timestamp reads 6 days ago. Neurosurgeon, Ruiz whispers. Fake one. They paid him $150,000 as a deposit for your daughter's transplant organs. Organs she doesn't need to donate because she's not actually dead. I feel something then. Not grief, not even anger yet. Just a cold spreading certainty like ice water in my veins. Show me everything, I say. Ruiz swipes to the next video. The hospital corridor smells like bleach and lies. I'm standing near the vending machines, drinking Cuban coffee from a styrofoam cup that burns my throat the same way campaign rallies in Little Havana used to burn my voice. The coffee tastes like ash and old promises, but I need the caffeine for what comes next. The elevator doors open with a cheerful ding that belongs in a shopping mall, not a hospital where people are supposedly dying. Emily wheels out in a brand new wheelchair, pushed by a nurse who looks like she just graduated. My daughter's wearing a neck brace that still has the price tag tucked under the foam $9.99 Party City clearance section. Her makeup is perfect. Not hospital perfect. Instagram perfect. Contouring, false lashes, the works. Blake walks beside her, phone held high like he's filming the second coming. He is filming, actually. Streaming live to his 2 million crypto followers, the ones who think blockchain is a religion and Elon Musk is their prophet. Guys, this is the hardest day of my life, Blake says to his phone, voice cracking on cue. My beautiful wife Emily survived the crash, but her father needs your prayers. The transplant costs are astronomical. Link in bio to donate. Every dollar helps save a life. I watch him perform. He's good. Better than half the congressmen I served with. His eyes even water on command, probably from staring at his phone screen for 12 hours a day. Emily sees me and gasps. Real theatrical, hand to chest, the whole production. Daddy, she sobs, and I wonder if she's forgotten that we haven't called each other anything but our legal names since her wedding. But I play my part too. I rush forward, all concerned father, arms open wide. I pull her into a hug that probably looks touching on Blake's live stream. She smells like expensive perfume and desperation. Against her wrist, I feel the medical alert bracelet I sent her for her birthday 3 years ago, the one she never knew had a GPS tracker and audio transmitter embedded in the clasp. The bracelet buzzes once against my palm. Short, sharp, efficient. FBI acknowledgement signal. They're listening. They've got everything. Thank God you're alive, I say into her hair, loud enough for Blake's phone to catch. I thought I'd lost you. The doctors say it's a miracle, Blake chimes in, angling his phone to get both of us in frame. Emily's father is Richard Harlan, former congressman, real Florida hero. Sir, would you like to say anything to our followers about the transplant fund? I look directly at the camera. 2 million people watching live. More recording for later. I'd give anything to help my family, I say, and I mean every word, just not the way Blake thinks I mean it. Behind me, Agent Ruiz walks past in his janitor coveralls, pushing a mop bucket. He doesn't look at me, doesn't need to. His phone is already uploading the church parking lot footage to servers I set up, back when I chaired the House Intelligence Committee's Cybersecurity Subcommittee. I notice Blake's neurosurgeon consultant lingering near the nurse's station, trying to look official in scrubs that are too new, too pressed. Dr. Marcus Webb. Except that's not his real name, and he's not a real doctor. He's Kenneth Marsh, former pharmaceutical lobbyist, the same snake I buried in 2009 for taking big sugar bribes during the Everglades cleanup bill. I watched his career implode in real time back then, disbarred, divorced, disappeared into the South Florida scammer ecosystem where everyone's one alias away from their next con. Now he's here, pretending to coordinate organ transplants that will never happen, collecting deposits on operations that will never be scheduled. I pull out my own phone, the official one, not the burner. I open Twitter. Sorry, X, whatever we're calling it this week. I type fast, muscle memory from years of angry constituent emails. The yacht's black box data. I've had it for 4 days, ever since I paid a Coast Guard friend 2 bottles of good scotch to pull the records before the official investigation closed. The data shows no collision, no impact, no accident, just Blake's paradigm shift yacht making a leisurely circle around Biscayne Bay before returning to dock, completely undamaged. I attach the file to a message. Tag WSVN Channel 7, the local news station that broke Watergate before Watergate was cool. Tag the Miami Herald. Tag 3 true crime podcasters who owe me favors. Hit send. 90 seconds. That's how long it takes for Harlan hoax to start trending. Not locally, nationally, globally. Above Taylor Swift's latest breakup. Above whatever political scandal is supposed to be dominating the news cycle. Blake's phone starts buzzing. Not the good kind of buzzing. The your life is over kind. His face goes pale under his spray tan. He's reading the comments on his live stream in real time, watching his follower count drop like a crypto crash. Emily's still in the wheelchair, neck brace suddenly feeling very tight around her throat. Daddy, she says, quieter now, and this time there's real fear in her voice. What did you do? I lean down close, so the phone mics can't catch it. What you taught me, sweetheart. Never trust family when money's involved. Kenneth Marsh is already walking fast toward the exit, surgical scrubs flapping. He won't make it. Ruiz is blocking the stairwell door, and 2 actual FBI agents in windbreakers are coming out of the elevator. They've got that purposeful stride, badges already out. Blake tries to run, makes it maybe 10 feet before hospital security tackles him like he's carrying a football. His phone skitters across the linoleum, still live streaming, now just showing ceiling tiles and fluorescent lights, while 2 million people watch a crypto influencer get arrested in real time. Emily doesn't run. She just sits in her wheelchair, Party City neck brace crooked now, mascara starting to run. You're going to testify against him, I tell her. Not a question, a fact. Or the DA adds you as co-conspirator on the insurance fraud, on the donation scam, on whatever else they find when they crack open Blake's crypto wallets. She looks up at me with my own eyes, my own stubborn jawline. I hate you, she whispers. I know, I say, but you'll hate prison more. I'm back in Key West by sunrise, while Miami still processes what just happened. The drive down US 1 is easier in daylight, palms swaying in the warm October wind, tourists already lining up for the southernmost point photo op like nothing matters except their vacation selfies. Fantasy Fest is in full swing when I pull into my driveway. Zombies stumble down Duval Street in elaborate makeup, pirates chase mermaids past the bars, grown adults dressed like cartoon characters drink themselves into stories they'll regret posting online. It's Key West's version of Mardi Gras, except weirder and more humid. I'm not going anywhere near it. Instead, I head straight to my real office, the one nobody knows about. Not the conch cottage where I sleep. The old Hemingway house on Whitehead Street. Yeah, that Hemingway house. I bought it through 3 shell companies back in 2012 when the Historical Society needed cash and I needed a place the IRS couldn't find. The cats are still there, 6-toed descendants of Papa's original polydactyl army. They watch me unlock the back door like furry little judges. One of them, a orange tabby I call Hoover, follows me down to the basement where Hemingway never wrote anything but I've written plenty. My real computer setup is down here. Not the laptop I use for emails, not the tablet for social media. This is 3 monitors, 2 external hard drives, and enough encryption to make the NSA nostalgic. I built this system with help from some intelligence community friends, right after 9/11, back when everyone was paranoid and nobody asked questions about cybersecurity budgets. I crack my knuckles and get to work. Blake's $150,000 wire transfer, the one he paid to fake Dr. Kenneth Marsh, is sitting in a cryptocurrency wallet that Blake thinks is secure. He's wrong. The wallet address he sent it to looks legitimate, sounds legitimate, but it's actually a honeypot I created using code I shouldn't legally have access to. Every transaction Blake makes lights up my screen like a pinball machine. I can see everything. Every crypto coin he's ever bought. Every NFT scam he's ever run. Every offshore account he thinks is hidden. More importantly, I can reroute it. 3 keystrokes, and that $150,000 changes direction, no longer heading to Kenneth Marsh's Cayman Islands account. Instead, it's flowing straight into an FBI evidence locker, tagged with Blake's name, his wallet address, and a complete transaction history that proves intent to commit fraud. But that's just the appetizer. I pull up Emily's organ donor registration, the one I signed at the hospital while Blake was busy live streaming his performance. Florida DMV keeps detailed records, and when you register as an organ donor, the system cross-checks your medical history against transplant databases. Standard procedure, supposed to prevent people with certain conditions from donating organs that might harm recipients. What the DMV isn't expecting is what pops up on Emily's file. A flag. Red. Urgent. Medical disqualification. She's already missing a kidney. Left kidney removed June 14th, 2022, at a clinic in Hialeah. The paperwork says emergency nephrectomy due to infection, but I know better. I've seen this scam before, back when I was investigating human trafficking rings that operated along the I-95 corridor. She sold it. Sold her own kidney for cash, probably $50,000 or $60,000, at a black market clinic run by people who don't ask questions and don't report to insurance companies. The clinic is owned, according to property records I'm now pulling up, by a holding company traced back to Blake's cousin Raphael, currently under indictment for cartel money laundering in Broward County. I screenshot everything. Send it to my FBI contacts, to the state attorney's office, to a reporter at the Miami Herald who's been trying to crack the South Florida organ trafficking story for 2 years. Then I make conch fritters. Real ones, not the tourist trap garbage they sell on Duval Street. Stone crab claws, key lime juice, Scotch bonnet peppers from my backyard garden. I stand at my stove, oil popping, while my phone buzzes with news alerts. Local 10 News has Emily. Somehow, in the chaos of her arrest processing, she agreed to an interview. Thought it was a podcast, according to the chyron at the bottom of my TV screen. Some crypto bro podcast that was going to let her tell her side of the story. It's not a podcast. It's Lori Jennings, veteran Miami news anchor, and she's not asking softball questions. I watch from my porch, plate of fresh conch fritters cooling beside me, as Emily sits in the WPLG studio still wearing her Party City neck brace. Her lawyer is off camera, probably having a stroke, as Emily starts talking. Blake said it was just a simple procedure, she says, voice shaking. He said lots of people do it. Sell a kidney, make some money, no big deal. Lori leans forward. When was this, Emily? 2022, June. We needed money for the yacht down payment. And your father didn't know? Emily laughs, bitter and sharp. My father? We don't talk. Haven't talked in years. He's too busy being perfect, being the hero congressman, saving the Everglades while his own family falls apart. I take a bite of conch fritter. Still hot. Burns my tongue a little. On screen, Emily keeps going, keeps confessing, doesn't realize she's burying herself deeper with every word. The lawyer finally rushes into frame, trying to cover her mouth, but it's live television. 2 million people watching, recording, screen capturing every damning sentence. Her mascara is running. Black streaks down her cheeks like the Caloosahatchee River after red tide kills everything in the water. She looks destroyed. She looks guilty. She looks exactly like what she is, a woman who chose the wrong man and made every wrong choice after that. I should feel something. Triumph, maybe. Vindication. Instead, I just feel tired. Hoover the cat jumps up on the porch railing, 6 toes flexing, and meows at me like he's asking the question I can't answer. Was it worth it? I look at my phone. Blake's mugshot is trending. Emily's confession is trending. Harlan hoax is still trending. My name is trending, but this time with hero and justice attached instead of corrupt and establishment. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it was worth it. I finish my conch fritters and wait for the hurricane that's been threatening all week to finally make landfall. The FBI doesn't wait for convenient timing. Dawn raids never do. It's 6:17 in the morning when 12 federal agents in tactical gear storm Blake and Emily's South Beach penthouse. Art Basel week, of course, because Blake never misses an opportunity to pretend he's cultured. The building is full of international art dealers, crypto millionaires, and influencers who think spending $40,000 on a banana taped to a wall makes them sophisticated. Blake is on the balcony in a neon green Speedo, hosting what he calls a VIP brunch. Champagne, caviar, probably some cryptocurrency pitch disguised as morning conversation. 20 guests in designer sunglasses, barely awake, phones out recording everything because that's what people do now instead of actually living. The agents come through the front door with a battering ram they don't really need because the door isn't locked. Blake's too arrogant for security, too convinced that his 2 million followers make him untouchable. He's wrong. Blake Thornton, the lead agent, announces, "Badge high. You're under arrest for wire fraud, conspiracy to commit insurance fraud, and money laundering." Blake stands up, champagne flute still in hand, Speedo leaving absolutely nothing to the imagination. "Congressional immunity," he screams, loud enough that every phone on that balcony catches it. "My father-in-law is Richard Harlan, former congressman. You can't touch me." I'm watching this happen in real time, courtesy of the FBI's body cam feed they're streaming to my secure laptop. I'm still in Key West, still on my porch, coffee going cold in my hand. Congressional immunity. The kid thinks that's a real thing. Thinks being related to a former congressman gives him some kind of diplomatic shield. He's been watching too many bad legal dramas, confusing fiction with reality. I pick up my phone and call the lead agent directly. "Tell him I personally revoked his donor visa," I say. There's a pause. "Sir, he's a U.S. citizen. He doesn't have a donor visa." "I know, but he thinks he does. Let him sit with that for a while." Blake is still yelling as they cuff him, still performing for the cameras, still convinced this is all a misunderstanding that his lawyers will fix by lunchtime. Emily is inside the penthouse, already in custody, silent now. No more confessions, no more tears, just the cold reality of federal charges, and no bail option. The penthouse is modern glass and chrome, the kind of place that looks expensive but feels empty. Artwork on the walls that Blake probably bought as investment pieces without knowing or caring what they actually mean. A statue in the corner that might be important, or might be from Home Goods. Hard to tell with these people. 3 days later, I'm in Washington, D.C. for the first time in 6 years. The Senate hearing room looks smaller than I remember. Same wood paneling, same American flags flanking the chairman's seat, same gallery where reporters and tourists crowd together hoping for drama. I used to sit up there on the panel, asking questions, grilling witnesses. Now I'm here to watch someone else do it. Agent Maria Ruiz takes the stand. Not Luis Ruiz, like I told Emily. Maria. I changed her name in the story because even now, even with everything exposed, some operational security matters. She's in a dark suit, hair pulled back, 20 years of undercover work written in the careful way she sits, hands folded, eyes scanning the room for threats that probably aren't there but might be. The senator from New York, a kid I helped elect back when he was running for city council, leads the questioning. "Agent Ruiz, can you describe your assignment?" "I was embedded as a janitor at Gesu Church in downtown Miami," she says, voice steady. "My cover lasted 23 years. I was there when Emily Harlan was baptized in 2003. I watched her grow up. I watched her family fall apart, and I watched her marry a man I'd been investigating for crypto fraud since 2019. The gallery murmurs. Reporters lean forward. "And your handler during this assignment?" "Former Congressman Richard Harlan. He recruited me when I was fresh out of Quantico, when he chaired the House Intelligence Committee. He knew Florida's political corruption ran deep. He wanted someone in place for the long game. 23 years. People are doing the math in their heads. I placed Maria in that church before most of these senators were even in politics, before cryptocurrency existed, before anyone thought influencer fraud would be a real federal crime." "Did you maintain your cover after Mr. Harlan left Congress?" "Yes, sir. The mission was never about his career. It was about protecting Florida from the people who see it as nothing but a playground for scams. I'm sitting in the gallery, baseball cap pulled low, trying not to be recognized. Someone spots me anyway. Always happens. Phone cameras angle my direction, but I don't move. Just watch Maria testify. Watch her dismantle Blake's defense before his lawyers even have a chance to build it. The hearing lasts 4 hours. By the end, 3 senators have called for expanded cryptocurrency regulation. 2 have proposed new organ trafficking legislation. 1 is already drafting a bill named after Emily, which is either ironic or fitting depending on how you look at it. I slip out before the press conference starts. Back in Key West, hurricane season is finally over. The shutters are down, the tourists are back, and Duval Street is playing Jimmy Buffett like it's a religious requirement. My phone shows Blake's mugshot trending above actual news. Emily's mugshot right beside it. Both of them looking shocked, looking betrayed, looking like they genuinely believed they were smarter than everyone else. I pour fresh coffee, sit on my porch, and watch the sunset paint the sky orange and purple and gold. Karma doesn't filibuster. It just waits for the right moment, then moves. 6 months pass like Florida weather, fast and unpredictable. Blake gets 22 years federal, no parole. Emily takes a plea deal, testifies against everyone in Blake's network, and gets 8 years in Tallahassee Correctional. The fake neurosurgeon Kenneth Marsh flips on a dozen other medical fraud schemes and still gets 15 years because federal prosecutors don't forgive, they just negotiate. The crypto followers disappear overnight. 2 million people suddenly pretending they never believed in Blake's vision, never donated to his transplant fund, never bought his NFTs of pixelated yachts. And me? I turned 69 in April, sitting on my Key West porch watching cruise ships lumber past like slow-motion whales. Then Florida does what Florida does best. Gets weird. A special recall election, triggered by a scandal I had nothing to do with involving the current senator, and a series of very unfortunate text messages about beach erosion funds. The seat opens up. People start asking if I'm interested. I tell them no approximately 40 times before I realize nobody's listening to my no. Florida loves a comeback story more than it loves air conditioning. My campaign is 3 weeks long, mostly me standing on street corners in my Mustang talking about the Everglades and organ trafficking legislation. No fancy consultants, no super PAC money. Just me and Agent Maria Ruiz, who retired from the FBI, and now runs my security detail because she says after 23 years of watching criminals, watching me is relaxing. I win by 18 points. The mugshots help. Blake's and Emily's faces are everywhere, plastered on every news site, every social media platform, every true crime podcast that needs content. Blake looking indignant in his booking photo, jaw clenched like he's still trying to negotiate. Emily looking hollowed out, makeup smeared, neck brace finally gone to reveal the truth underneath. They trend for weeks, months really. Every time the news cycle slows down, someone reposts them with a new caption, a new think piece about privilege and consequences, and how karma works when you're stupid enough to scam your own father. Key West tiki bars put the mugshots on their TVs during happy hour. The Tallahassee Capitol Rotunda displays them during a fraud prevention seminar. They become shorthand for "Don't be these people," a warning wrapped in schadenfreude and served with a side of Florida man absurdity. I get sworn in on a Tuesday in May, hand on a Bible that belonged to my father, who served in the Pacific during World War II and never once complained about the heat or the moral complexity of doing the right thing when it costs you everything. 3 weeks later, the Harlan Anti-Fraud Act passes the Senate floor. Unanimous vote, 47-0, with 3 abstentions from senators who were on vacation and probably drunk. The bill closes loopholes in organ donation fraud, cryptocurrency scam prosecution, and medical licensing verification. It's not perfect, but it's something, and something is better than the nothing we had before. We sign it on the USS Mohawk, a decommissioned Coast Guard cutter now permanently docked at Key West Harbor for tourists who want to pretend they understand naval history. The ceremony is scheduled for Sunset Celebration, that nightly carnival on Mallory Square, where street performers juggle fire and cats jump through hoops, and everyone pretends the world isn't complicated. 500 people show up, maybe more. Hard to count when they're pressed together under palm trees, waving little American flags someone handed out, holding phones high to record everything, because if it's not on social media, it didn't happen. I stand at the ship's railing with the bill in front of me, Mont Blanc pen in hand, the same pen I used to sign the Everglades Restoration Act back when I still believed legislation could fix everything. The crowd starts chanting before I even touch the paper. Rick, Rick, Rick. It builds like a wave, like a storm rolling in off the Gulf. Hurricane shutters on the buildings behind us rattle in the wind, metal on metal, percussion keeping time with the voices. It sounds like applause. It sounds like vindication. It sounds like every campaign rally I ever stood through, every hand I ever shook, every promise I ever made coming back as an echo. I sign the bill, blue ink on white paper. Official. The crowd erupts, phones flash. Someone sets off confetti that immediately blows into the harbor because nobody in Key West understands wind patterns. The sun drops toward the horizon, painting everything gold and crimson, the kind of light that makes you believe in redemption even when you know better. Agent Maria Ruiz stands beside me, not smiling exactly, but close enough. "Your daughter called yesterday," she says quietly under the noise. "From prison." What did she want? To talk. To apologize, to ask if you'd visit. I watch the sun sink lower, watch the tourists take their sunset photos, watch the world keep spinning like none of this matters in the grand scheme of things. Tell her maybe, I say. Tell her we'll see. Because that's the truth. Maybe I'll forgive her someday. Maybe I won't. Maybe karma isn't about punishment or revenge, but about holding people accountable while leaving room for them to become something better than what they were. Or maybe I'm just old and tired and trying to find meaning in a mess I helped create. Later, after the crowd disperses and the sun is fully gone and the stars come out over the Gulf of Mexico, I drive back to my cottage, park the Mustang, climb the steps to my porch where everything started 6 months ago with a phone call at 3 in the morning. I make coffee, sit in my chair, look out at the darkness. My porch light blinks once. Quick, sharp, deliberate, not a malfunction. Morse code, ... J for justice. I installed that light myself 30 years ago, back when I first ran for Congress, and thought symbols mattered more than actions. Turns out they both matter. Turns out you need the poetry and the policy, the gesture and the grind. I sip my coffee and whisper to the Gulf, to the wind, to whatever's listening. Karma doesn't need a courtroom, it just needs a father who never forgot the oath. The light blinks again, once, final. And I sit there until morning comes,